Hello, good evening. How are you doing? I'm a bit bright. Hi. Today we are going to commentate on Diana's game. Diana is playing the Irish Women's Chess Championships, and the prize is high because the winner gets a guaranteed spot in the Olympiad team of 2026, I guess, because it's every 2 years. So, and we have one coming up in September. So, this afternoon, we are round 3. She's currently on 2 out of 2, if I'm not mistaken. She's doing great. Or she's on 1 out of... Maybe I am mistaken. Why is this... I might have been tricked, because why would you put the people on 2 out of 2 on board 6 and not on board 1? I'm just realizing that now. Why would you do that? Why? Hi, Pant. And hi, Waterford Wizard, how are you doing? Hello, Cheesy, how are you doing? Hello. How do you pronounce that? Is that Owen? I know with the Irish names, it can be quite difficult. And if you're Irish, please let me know. Why would you put the people with 2 out of 2 on board 6 and not on board 1? I don't get it, because it's not a round robin. At first I thought everyone would be playing each other because there are not that many participants. But it's only 5 rounds. So anyway. Let's get some moves on the board. Unfortunately, we do not have the game directly on chess.com. So it's a bit of a tricky position that way. So maybe let's see if I can add the clocks, because it's always nice to see some clocks. Let's see if this works. It does work. Okay, let me do it like this. Pro streamer. There we go. Beautiful. And then copy paste. And then do the same for Diana. And then we will get some moves. And yeah, if you know why they do it reverse, I would be very eager to find out. Okay, so we have the clocks. Perfect. Now all we need is some more moves. Hello, Kanispika. How are you doing? Hello, Dirkje. Good to see you. Also, let me pop out chat so that I can easily read it. There we go. And then we should be all set up. Team is not very strong. I am from Belgium. It's we're about equal. So it's always a good question of why that is. Okay, so let's get some moves going. First, let me catch up. You can see the live cam below. So Diana is sitting here, and this is her opponent, Lorena Putar, who looks quite young. So the rating, don't get too focused on that. It's very dangerous to underestimate your opponent, especially if they are young, if they haven't had that much experience playing OTB tournaments, or just not a lot of playing in general. Okay, so e4, e5 played. Knight f3. I'm already out of book because I'm an English player. Knight c6, knight c3. Okay, interesting. Bishop c5, and then g3 played, which is a funny little... I have a student that plays like this. It's funny with the fianchetto, even though you put a pawn on e4. So you're kind of breaking a couple of rules, which is interesting. Knight f6, bishop g2, castles, d6. Okay, so black has a very standard looking way of developing. d6, d3. Okay, now h3 played. Very often people play h6, excuse me, h6 played. People play h6 to stop the bishop from going here, to stop this pin, because they are quite annoyed by that pin. The problem, however, is that you've now created a hook for your opponent. And what is a hook? It's where you can attach yourself. So if you imagine these pawns running on up the board, they create a way into the king. While if the pawns were still here, it's a lot harder, because whichever pawn you push the other one, and they block each other. So it's not a way in that way. h6, knight a4, bishop b6, knight takes, a takes. So definitely Diana, so she has now traded off one pair of her opponent's bishop. So she has the bishop pair. She also has a dark squared bishop. So she will definitely be focusing on the dark squares around the opponent's king. Also, the opponent's pawns, her pawns are looking that way. So she is definitely signaling a kingside attack. Knight takes, a takes, knight h4, knight e7, and now she has gone all out f4, and we have caught up to the live position. So let me catch up with chat. Hello, Super Mario, how are you doing? Do I have a private coach? Not anymore. I had a coach for a year and a half, something like that. But now I am newly part of a chess school because I do want to get better. You don't agree. Good game, well played. Okay. How much is your FIDE rating? My FIDE rating is around 1930 something. I came back from a break, and then I tried to play some OTB, but I've developed some new issues, it seems, so I didn't play very well in my tournaments, unfortunately. Okay. The Great Depression, yeah. Tell me about it. Chess can be brutal, you know, if it's not working out for you, and if everything goes wrong, it can make you question a lot of things, unfortunately. So that is, yeah. But I saw Diana's rating. I hadn't realized how strong she has become, because when we played a tournament in Sitges last year together, and I don't think she was at this rating. Can I quickly find what her rating was back then? Diana Mirza FIDE. Thank you so much for making that noise. Hello, Anamaya. Thank you so much for the raid. How are you doing? I saw your quest for a coach. Good luck with that. I think that would be amazing if you find the right fit for you, if you find the person that motivates you, that finds the right material, that you know that knows you and knows what you want to work on, and it goes well, then that can be very, very motivating. So good luck with that. Hello, Pizza Racer. Hello, everyone who has pants on. I did put on pants about 5 minutes before the stream. So, yes, there are pants. Even pants that I can show, because there we go, black pants. Not all my pants are appropriate for viewing, but these are. Hey Frank, how are you doing? Hello, Rd3. I lost my train of thought. Okay, I was checking Diana's amazing results. So she gained 25 rating points in February and 25 in May. That is amazing. And in Germany, right? She invited me to that tournament. If it wasn't on a bad day for me, I might have gone. Wow. Okay, great. Very exciting for her. So now she's on the lovely rating of 1981. Has she been 2000 before? I don't think so. She's almost on the top of her rating. So her highest ever was 1986 in 2019. Okay, very exciting. Okay. I realize, okay, so she now made a move. E takes played. Bishop takes would is not possible. So Diana played g takes. Well, it's technically possible, I guess, but then you have this issue. And while you are opening up the line to the king, it's a bit too much of material. So that's why she took with the pawn. And I think Diana's next moves are quite straightforward. She will probably play something like king h1, rook g1, maybe f5, takes, check, queen here if this knight is gone, and then some kind of mate. That's the plan. Checkmate. Thank you for the follow. Eskia. Good plan. Yes. Easy, you know. you just need to get 5 moves in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves, and we're in. Home free. That's the plan. They're both spending very little time. So Diana looks to be still in prep. I'm not familiar with Diana's training method. So if someone knows, please let me know. Does she prepare a lot? Is she booked up? But yeah, she's playing very quickly. Her opponent spent 15 minutes, so she's... But maybe here we might see a long thing, because I'm not too sure as black what you would actually play. Because white's plan is quite obvious, but very difficult to stop. And I fear that if you really want to stop it, maybe at some point you'll have to play something like knight g6, and allow this kind of doubled pawn. And while you might have stopped the mating attack, you also have to think of the endgame, right? Because if there's no mate in the middle game, then the game will probably evolve to the endgame, to the ending, and then you need to have a good position as well. What to do with black? Also, there are some rules to guide us. So if you're out of ideas, if you're in the middle game and you think like, I don't know what to do now, what should my plan be? A good rule of thumb is, for example, here, if Diana is attacking on the flank, then it might be good to open up the center. That could be an idea. It's something you have to calculate, of course, because d5, as soon as you move a pawn, you leave behind squares that pawn was previously protecting. And for example, here, that means that e5 will become a lot stronger and more annoying, maybe. But then again, if e5 is played, that means that f5 is now left behind and no longer being able to be attacked by a pawn. So yeah. Hey, Pizza Racer, 5 hands in a row. Hey, Double Click, how are you doing? How old is Lorena? Good question. I also asked I didn't know, so let me FIDE Lorena Putar. Let's see if that works. She's born in 2014, so that means she's around 10 years old. Wow. So she hasn't been playing chess that long, you know? So very exciting to have her here. I know the last name though. Who can remind me? Maybe if I do FIDE Putar. She has a family member that's also a chess player, right? Lara Putar is probably who I'm thinking of. And what's her age rating? Born in 2007. 1841. Okay. Is this in the Republic of Ireland? It is in Ireland, yes. Hey John, how are you doing? What is the significance of that score? What's the name? Command. There we go. Turns out sibling adoption is illegal. What is the background? And are we purposely leaving out the G in sibling? Or what's going on? You're good. Okay, so unfortunately we don't see the clock on the camera. Which means that I need to... There we go, bishop d7 played. Otherwise it's easier when you see which way the clock is facing, then it's very quick to see who moved. So I'll have to keep an eye on the camera. Okay, Diana is playing very, very quickly. Is it a part of her strategy? Or is she just really, really booked up? But so far all her moves are quite, you know, she has a clear plan. I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's this rule in chess as well, and it's regarding your pawn structure. If you don't know, if you're not sure where to attack, look at the way your pawns are pointing, because that means that there you have more space. Look at all these squares, perfectly available for pieces. While here your pawns are still at home, so it's a lot more difficult to claim space that way, to bring your pieces outside of the chain. It's not the same thing. They're not as well defended. It's not that easy to get to. While here you can see here, and then this way, and then this way. There's also a thing like initiative in chess, and it means that who's most active, who is attacking, who is doing the most on the board. And at this point, it's also definitely Diana, because Lorena, her pieces are still quite tied down. She does have a nice half-open file here, but it's not doing that much at the moment. And it's also not something that you really can capitalize on, because I mean, imagine if you try to double and attack this, then that's easily parried by playing a3. And then you might say, okay, but after playing h6, you talked about a hook. Isn't it the same thing? Yes and no. Yes, because it is a hook, but no, because this piece is slightly less valuable than your king. So worst case, if this pawn comes here, you just push it again, a4, and even if you don't push it and you leave it and it gets taken, it's still not checkmate. Well, if you do that with this, if you push h5, it's very often a spot prime for sacrificing, because you are free to lose all your pieces if you keep just enough to checkmate. Who was the 2023 woman champion? I think it was Diana Matz, who is also playing in this one. But while she is playing under the Irish flag, I think she's originally, or still, I don't know her status, Ukrainian. So I don't think that she qualifies to be the Irish champion. So I think that might have gone to Tosh. I think Tosh was champion last year. Tosh is also Polish, but I think that she qualifies to have the Irish title. Hello, Lamprockles. How are you doing? Tosh was champion last year, yeah. But Tosh doesn't have the Irish nationality, does she? But she has the residence, I think. I think she's a resident for long enough, but like I say, I'm not really up to date with the pericles. I know in Belgium, someone just joined the Belgian team or the Belgian Federation coming from Germany. So I imagine that if she plays the Belgian championships, that she might just be Belgian champion. She plays for the Irish Federation and she lives in Ireland, yes. We had an excellent cupcake together when we were... I met her. I met Tosh in Dublin and Diana in Spain. We don't have a lot of pictures together. But I was reminded today of the cupcakes that we had in Dublin. They were delicious. When did I go? May? No, it was February, right? February. Oh well. Hello, First Night. Black looks busted. The only way to undermine the pawn chain is by weakening your king. Yes. Okay. What was the opening? Excellent question. I'm a bit hesitant to click away because I'm in a chess.com classroom and I'm not that familiar with them. Why am I so bright as well? Can I fix that? There we go. Also my hair. What was this opening? So e4, e5, so far so good. The 3 knights opening, this is, for now. And now this with this g3, which is a bit... well, it's a viable opening, but it's a bit strange because you develop your bishop to a diagonal that is already blocked. Okay, now it's the 4 knights game because, you know, 4 knights, that's how that works. Castle, castle. And now here. And I think normally in this position you play a6 so that you have a square to bring your bishop back to. But Lara, no, not Lara, I think it's her sister, Lorena, played h6 because I think she was scared of this pin. And I wonder if it's an annoying pin, yes, but I think worst case, you then play h6, right? After it's there. And if takes, then you have the bishop here, so you're happy. So maybe h6 was a bit premature because you create a hook. And on the other hand, you have to part ways with your bishop. So yeah, chat.com tells me this is called the 4 knights game. And now the attack or the plans for Diana are, you know, right there. F4, you just go crazy. Collect system, I don't know. It doesn't say. Thank you, Super Mario. Thank you for the follow, talent player. Do you have a lot of talent? And then here the problem is that black just doesn't have a lot of ideas. What do you do with your pieces? Where do you develop them? Because if you put your bishop here, you just get kicked away. If you put it here, then it's quite dangerous because I think you're even helping white. White wants to go there and white wants to go there. And if you leave your bishop here, then it's easy to attack. So it's very difficult. You would like more space, so you would like to create either something in the center or maybe here, but they don't quite work out because you have d5 and then e5 and then f5 and it's looking very dangerous as black. So bishop d7 played because you have to play something. And then Diana played f5, and if you didn't know which way she's going to attack, then it's very clear now. All her pawns are looking at the king. Lorena played rook a5. I wonder why. Did she really have some kind of sacrifice in mind? Because maybe she's like, okay, I need to do something. My position isn't going great. But I feel that might even help Diana because then when this pawn is gone, all these lines are open. So I don't think she would be very unhappy with that. Diana played bishop d2, and that is where we are. Let me check the position. No. Rook c5 played. Oh, is that rook surviving? That looks like a trapped... Oh, she played... Wait. Rook b5 played. And now a4. And rook c5 played. And now b4. Okay. This looks like a trapped rook. Let's see if we can find the trap. Hello, talent player. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. I was happy to come on today to commentate for Diana. For a second there, I felt like Jesse's commentator, but unfortunately her tournament didn't work out to be streamed. You used to play it for knights in correspondence sometimes. Is that always with the G3 move? First time played it was an accidental move or the wrong. That's a lot of my openings indeed. That's often how that goes. Yeah. Hello, SGN the Deep Thinker. Maybe a good plan could be to just improve your badly placed pieces on the squares where they can have more influence towards the center. While I like that sentence, and I completely agree with it, when you put it into practice, what are those squares? And how are you getting there? Like, I like your plan from a theoretical standpoint. It's excellent. But how to actually do it? Thank you so much, Ulan, for gifting 3 subs. That is so kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you doing, Ulan? How is Norway? You have a book on it. On the 4 nights. Is it, did you confirm or not? Is it with G3? It's in your copy of the MCO. What is the MCO? Can't remember. You mentioned neglect because you think there's an early G3 and fianchetto. Okay. Or a fianchetto. That is John. Modern chess openings. Yes. Okay. Okay, so rook c6 blades, and now let's see if we can find how to actually trap this rook. Maybe we already have e5, but I don't really like e5 because for one thing you can move this, but then there's f6, which looks very, very dangerous. But also e5, if imagine takes, and then yes, you've won material, but your whole attack is gone. And I don't think that it's worth it because don't forget that your king is completely open now. It's dangerous. And also never forget that this knight is undefended. So if you play some moves, these knights move a bit and you forget about that knight, that's how you blunder a piece. The crown is very weak. I'm sorry to hear that, Ulan. Or unless it's are you doing an Uno reverse? I'm so out of the loop these days. I need to catch up with Diana. We met in Spain a couple of months ago. She was lovely. She gives great hugs. What else to say? And I know she just graduated from university, right? Last year, I think. So she's very young. I kind of always forget how much older I am compared to the other streamers because I don't feel my age unless when I'm waking up in the morning and my back is completely thrown out, then I do feel my age. But otherwise I don't really, I don't really feel. And now I'm even older than I was last month. Now I'm 32. Diana, how old is Diana? Let me check. FIDE Diana Mirza. Born in 2000. Wow. Compared to me and Pizza Racer, you're a child. I know, I know. Uh, I don't feel like a child anymore, though. No, that's not. No. I do. I don't know. Age is complicated, you know. Age is complicated. I was looking to trap this, so I'm happy that she didn't play e5 because I think she would have probably won material, but it wouldn't have been as advantageous. I think she can do it in a cleaner way, and she's definitely going for it. You're 31 and still feel like a child. It's yeah. It's such a duality, right? What is the rook doing on c6? Hello, Scorelli, how are you doing? Lorena tried really hard to do something because her position was kind of cramped, and she thought, let me take advantage of this. And I was thinking maybe she wants to sacrifice some material, even though it doesn't really seem to be in her favor anyway. But unfortunately, in chess, you can't pause the move. So you need to do something. And oh wait, this is not. Let me promote. There we go. Rook b5 played, a4. And now this is how it's. I think Lorena should have gone back and say here, But even then, even if you play rook a8 now, still Diana would play something like king h1, rook g1, queen e1, queen g3, this bishop going somewhere. Yeah, and then you sacrifice here and checkmate and so many plans. What does Stockfish say? I don't have the engine on. So if you want, put in chat what your guess is for the evaluation. And then we can check. And the one that's closest, if you're exactly on it, then maybe you turn the engine off, because then it's a bit unfair. But yeah, I find that really difficult to guess the evaluation. It's really difficult for me. Let me check in Diana's chat. Hello, Simonius. How are you doing? B5 next. In this position, maybe. I would like to get this pawn defended as well. So b5, rook c5, maybe something like queen e2, because you're doing two things at once, right? You're defending this pawn through x-ray, so you can free up this. You're defending this pawn, so you're actually doing three things at once. And you make way for your queen to possibly go to g2 once that bishop moves. So yeah, b5 looks quite reasonable. What will black play? So the deep thinker said, like for black, the good squares for knights on e7. So I think, so we were talking about this at this position, right? For knight on e7 could be the c6 square. And then keep an eye on the pawn storm. There is a strategy in chess of developing pieces while blocking some piece behind, though the point is the blocked piece will be controlling some important squares in the position. Do you mean like this? Because very often when the opponent pushes a pawn, it's best to put a knight in front of it, because a knight blocks it very well and still controls all these important squares. So is that what you mean? Yeah, knight c6 probably makes more sense, even if it's just to have some... so knight c6 here. For example, if I make a lame... Let's play king h1, just to stick with this idea. Now we have to calculate as black, can I play knight takes e4? Because knight takes e4, how do we want to take back? Let's say bishop takes. Now, like I said, this knight is hanging. So it's very easy to lose control, to forget about that knight, that you're not protecting it. So you need to be quite careful. So okay, knight c6 is a good move. Imagine if Diana sees it, which I assume that she would, and plays queen e1, for example, because then this is coming. Are we worried about something like here? But immediately, well, not this, because then you lose it, so that's not the best move for your knight. I would love to be able to put my knight on e5. Unfortunately, it will get kicked away, so that's not a plan yet. I also hate it if I'm doing the kingside attack and my opponent manages somehow to get their king here and the rook there, and this knight goes there, and you just can't enter in their position anymore. So maybe that could also be a plan. Yeah. Hey, Truth, how are you doing? Your guess is 2.5. Okay. Truth, this is the position. What do you think the engine eval is like? I don't have the engine on, but I'll turn it on. Also, I need to keep an eye. Okay, so Lorena hasn't moved yet. How is Tosh's doing? Let me quickly... Oh, b5 played. Okay. Okay, so instinctively, I would take back a takes b. Let me check before I forget what the Stockfish eval is. How do I just turn it on here? It's 2.8 something. 2.8. So she has a great advantage already. Okay, so b5. My instinct would be to take like this. And why? It's because if we take like this, we do have the option to create a passed pawn, but I feel like we're far away from the endgame. And by thinking like that, we are weakening a bit our central structure, I feel. This d pawn is quite behind. I also like this this open file that we're giving ourselves. And I still want to control the center, you know? You did not get to guess now. You would have gotten it right anyway, Truth, so... Okay, Diana takes the same way. A takes B. If you're confused in Diana's chat, I am also streaming. And I'm also reading my own chat. So, you were thinking 1.5 or 1.6, really? Okay, interesting. In a way, it's kind of interesting that it's not more because of how badly this rook is placed, you know? And now if rook b6, Then the question becomes, do you play bishop e3 and take that material? And then you have a rook which is 5 points and a bishop which is 3 points. And she's already up 1 because she got this lovely pawn now. Which I guess does amount to about 2.6 or 7. So looks like the math checks out. But which chat is best? The one that I'm reading, that's always the best chat. Thank you for the stream streak. White's pawns are rapidly headed for battle, yes. Black's position is hopeless. White should leave the rook in his place and just go for the king. Yes. I think it's also... well, the one thing you need to be a tiny bit careful about, I feel, if you play rook b6 and then you go in, you know, to attack, might there be something like c6 and then... there's still bishop e3 if you want to cop out, but I'm, you know, black will not stay quiet, and white does need to have a couple more moves before it's checkmate, and I think this king h7 rook g8 plan really does stop checkmate. Well put, thank you. How is Diana's chat doing? Are you enjoying the game? Let me know what you think. What happened in the previous game? Because I misspoke, I think. Let me check what happened. Oh, that reminds me. Who has heard of... so there are 6 boards. And the 2 players... well, 2 of the players on 2 out of 2 are playing on the 6th board and not the 1st board. And I was so confused by this. Why would you not put your highest rated players on the 1st board? You know? Let me go... because Diana hasn't been on board 1 the whole tournament, so that's also not a reason. Okay, so she did lose the 2nd round, which is unfortunate. Okay, but let me go back to the 3rd. Moves played, so rook b6 and bishop e3 played. Who is Hilda, and why is that strange? You would play bishop e3, get the exchange, because that helps hold your bind on the queen side. So if c6 now, bishop takes, queen takes, check. King h1, but that's fine, you want to go there anyway. Takes. Or maybe do you want to play d4 actually? So c6, if you take, and then play d4, and if takes, then you have c5. This pawn is still defended, so you're fine there. Well, yes, but why is that strange, Super Mario? Could you run into problems with self-pinning? So c6, takes, d4. I don't see any problem with that. So that looks good. That looks good. Okay, a move was made because the clocks have changed. Knight c8. Okay, knight c8. So immediately my mind goes to two things. One thing is careful, don't forget about your knight. And the other thing is like I would love to be able to put a rook here just because it looks cool. Probably not the best strategy for chess, playing moves that look cool. I have lost because of that. Oh, that reminds me, truth. I saw a beautiful tactic and I decided not to play it, and instead I decided to lose the game. Not my best decision. And I really, really regretted it because it would have been very beautiful. And I was right in my calculation. So anyway, moral of the story is... I don't know what the moral is of the story. It was just sad. Just sad. Knight c8. Maybe I would just play queen e1. The only downside from queen e1 is that we've lost the ability to play d4 at the end of our line. So queen e1, c6, bishop takes, queen takes, check. Now we have to move this because d4 is just a free pawn because now our queen is on e1. But that means that we have now room for rook g1 and queen g3. So it might definitely be worth it. Great move, play to win. Yes, yes. It was beautiful. I take a knight with my queen. I sacrifice my queen and then I fork the king and the queen. And I even saw it, you know. And then I've won a knight in the end. Queens are off the board. Easy. But no. Also, let's appreciate the perfect clock position of Lorena. How beautiful is it to have exactly 1 hour? Isn't that beautiful? That takes skill, you know? I like things to be exact. And I've now been thinking, like, luckily I haven't taken it as far as to spend additional seconds on my clock just to get it in the most beautiful position, because that would not be a good use of my time. Definitely not. But, yeah. 1 hour exactly. Hey, Halvard, how are you doing? How are you doing? I was lurking in the stream this morning, and I saw you were talking about your progress. How is that going? Well, you said it was going good, so congratulations. I'm good, thank you. Normal Coke and Diana with 0. Yes, I need the sugar, unfortunately. 2K for the Blitz, so all good. Very nice, congratulations. That is a nice milestone. Okay, so Diana did play Queen e1, so she did not forget about her knight, which is a good thing. She is giving away the idea of d4. Like, she's not going for it anymore, but that's fine. She doesn't need it. She's just going to checkmate the king. There's a video on Wikipedia. How old is this? Be your first. I am OTB both in Blitz and Rapid this month. Nice. The same one? Because that person will not be will not be happy. 1950s, nice. The same one, yeah, okay. Now you're like their mortal enemy or something. They're black beasts. The black beast I remember from back in my heyday. If you kept losing to the same person, then you had a black beast. Yeah, I was just talking about how Diana's rating has, you know, it's looking amazing. She's getting very, very close to that magical line of 2000. Very exciting stuff. And we've both gotten our title through winning a World Championship tournament. So, also very exciting. Now, yeah. Master Chess Dojo, thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? I've been missing so many of your streams. I used to be able to catch it during work, but I haven't been able to for a very, very long time, and I'm very sorry about that. I always enjoy them, so I don't know what's happening. Might have to actually do some work these days. Thank you so much for the raid. How is life, Master Chess Dojo? How is the teaching going? The daily training? Starting a session just now. Where do you find the energy? And because I have the time, but not always the right focus to know what to work on, and the right mental. I don't want to say ability, but the mental. Thank you so much, Ulan, for gifting us up to Master Chess Dojo. So kind of you. What is the word that I'm looking for? The mental, like, commitment. The you can't think about it, just do it. That reminds me of this T-shirt. I'm always tempted to get it. It's the Nike logo that says normally it's do it or something, and it says no, you do it. I don't know. I explain it badly, but it's hilarious, and it's I like it. I like it. Energy, yeah. I don't know, because I've been telling myself to do more puzzles. I've been working a lot on positional stuff and on endgame stuff, but I need to maintain the thing that I'm best at, which is tactical puzzles, because I still miss a lot of those in my Blitz games. But it can feel a bit aimless. Yeah. Anyway, we are not here to talk about me. We are here to think about this position, but it's a bit difficult to talk a lot about this position, because Diana is totally crushing. We don't have to find crazy escaping ideas, because she's playing great. And might I say, with no offense to her opponent, it almost looks effortless. Okay, c6 played. Also, schedule each and every facet for yourself using a mobile task list and calendar. I have this issue, Master Chess Dojo. Um, I I very much like the idea of planning everything and keeping track of everything. But I only like the idea. I don't like to actually do it. I never maintain it. I have a million starts, and as soon as something changes or goes wrong or doesn't go as planned, I throw the whole plan out of the window because it has failed and it's no longer perfect and it's, you know, unsalvageable. The fact that I did 10 more puzzles and I'm now ahead of schedule means that I can no longer follow my schedule. And then you might say, okay, but just only do what's in your schedule. But then I feel like I'm holding back just to appease the administrative demons, you know? Something else that I've been trying to do is then just do something else and not what I was doing before, so as not to run ahead, get ahead on schedule. But then I'm sad that I can no longer continue what I was doing because I was getting so into it, and I am very much an all or nothing kind of person. It has to be a habit. Habits perpetuate success in the long run. But habits are so easy to break, you know? Takes. They are so easy to break. I've had this walking habit that I've been having for I don't walk a lot. My job is sitting down, and a lot of my life is sitting down, so I really need to force myself to walk. And I got my walking steps in, my goal, 3 months in a row or something, and then I miss one day, and I haven't hit it for a long time. So, yeah. With a pen asleep on the Nike logo and the phrase "just do it yourself." That's probably the one that I'm talking about, Sean. That's most definitely that one. Doesn't it look cute and adorable? And I'm trying to figure out what Heimpan is saying about its pronouns Joaquin. Takes 21 days to develop or break a habit. A bad habit. Because I can break a habit in one day, no problem. If it's a good habit. If it's a bad habit, then yeah. Stairmaster is a good machine. We have a walking pad. Does anyone have the link for live boards? I have the DGT board is public, right? Sure. There we go. I think, yeah. She walked past that comment. That's gonna bother me. The only joking that I know, so it sounds like joking. So maybe you're trying to do a wordplay. Or the other joking that I know is the actor. So okay, yeah. Joking. But when was I joking? Joking? Joaquin Phoenix? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. Anything with pandas on is adorable, yes. True. Your first coach and I would go to a local track and run 4 miles while discussing and analyzing chess over those 30-40 minutes, as well as on the walk to and from the track. Schedule the chess into your walk. Well, Heimpant. You know, time to chess up. Time to entertain me during our walks with chess. But it's not an issue about or you want to make the walk more fun. Maybe that's your goal. We'll have a baked potato. I missed that comment. Baked potato. Where is the baked potato? Oh, there. You will have a baked potato to celebrate the Irish. I'm not sure if that's such a good great thing about this track is that you have a lane and don't have to dodge people and things. You do chess related things during your train ride to and from work every day. Yeah. It's train rides are great. It's good that you're doing chess. I had the plan to do chess, and then I had my series, and you know, time flies. Must have been a good start of the tournament for 1400. Yeah, nobody has answered me yet. Why are the people on 2 points on board 6? Does anybody know? Or maybe Tosh has a... Does Tosh always play on the same board? No, also not? I don't know. I'm so confused. Okay, we have some more moves. So queen c7 and then takes. Okay, I've been chatting away about habits and stuff. So let's actually return to the position. So Lorena played c6. Diana decided to take that rook. Queen takes, now queen f2. She's proposing a queen trade because with less pieces on the board, it's not that easy to checkmate, and it's a lot easier for Lorena to defend against a checkmate with king h7 and rook g8, for example, because you would have to sacrifice a lot of material to actually get some kind of checkmate attack going, and it's probably not even worth it. And if you're up material, the number one rule is trade pieces equally, you know, don't give them away, but trade pieces so that it becomes a lot easier to change to win, basically. Here I don't have a command for Diana's games, but I just posted the link to the round information where you can find the standings as well. Because streamers have designated boards, but it wasn't like that in the first round. They both played on a different board in the first round. So maybe since then they've designated boards. That could be true. Since the second and the third round. But not in the first round. You used to do chess stuff on your commute, but now you don't commute the same. You set aside time in the morning each day to do aim chess and some chessable. Did you get your streak back, John? Okay, some moves are being played. So, queen f2 to exchange queens. Lorena correctly, you know, doesn't trade queens because then it would have been a lot harder to create counterplay. B takes, bishop takes, which means that your pawn structure is quite sad. And now b5, bishop d7 played. And the problem is that after, if we compare this position to, where were we? Here we were talking about not finding a plan for black. And now we are 10 moves further along, and this is the position, and it doesn't look much better for black. And we still are in a bad spot. We still don't have a plan, and we're down material to boot. So this middle game has not gone as how we wanted. But in Lorena's defense, you know, at this position, I very, very much struggled to find a plan. Maybe knight c6. Maybe maybe try to get some pieces on this and then push and then try something like that. But it all quite doesn't work. Almost, but not fully. Is this event like a junior championship? No, this is the Big Pants, exactly. This is the overall Irish women's championship, yeah. I don't think they have a lot of women necessarily in Ireland playing. It's also only 5 rounds, which was to me quite shocking. But in Belgium, we don't have the tradition of playing 5-round long tournaments. So that in itself is quite shocking to me, honestly. But to have only 5 rounds for a national championship is also quite strange, because that means you almost can't lose any points. It's very difficult to come back, and you also have to think about tie breaks. They are lower. Figured Ireland would have 2,300, or well, it's also depending. Why are you playing, right? The truth, I don't know how much money is involved. I don't think the prize money will be very significant, and the main prize, as far as I know, is the spot in the Olympic team in 2 years. And if you are 2,300, then you're pretty much guaranteed a spot anyway. So maybe you don't want to risk your rating playing in this tournament. Not sure how their national rating works either. Yeah, it's when I was in Ireland, they tried to explain it for a bit, but there was some strange. I don't know. You know, in one ear, out the other, I fear. Unfortunately. Okay, so Diana played knight f3, which is good. You know, this knight has done its job. It was here to threaten some kind of thing to help this pawn advance, but now that has been achieved. So time to reroute it back into protection. Now it's protected 3 times, and it's not even attacked. So, you know. If we look at this position, and now we need to find a new plan for Diana. It's no longer the mating thing, and I do think that she needs to be a tiny bit careful, because all her pawns, almost all her pawns, are on light squares, and so is her bishop. That means that the bishop doesn't have a lot of mobility. Also, there are quite a lot of holes in the position. And Lorena does have 2 knights. So Diana needs to be a bit careful not to allow any really strong outposted knights, because that could be quite dangerous for her. She's up an exchange and a pawn, so that is great. Her number 1 plan should be to trade as much material as possible. If you can eliminate the queens and the rook, so for example, if you take these pieces away, then a plan becomes quite clear, I think. So also these are definite weaknesses. If you can eliminate those and then go queen some pawns, that would be great. I think I also want to play d4 and e5. I have some ideas like that as a white, but that means, you know, I need to keep an eye on the protection of those pawns. So maybe an idea would be knight d2. So then they are both defended. Knight d2, d4. Maybe rook e1, and then we push here. Although, having said that, I really want to get the queens of the board first. So maybe we need to find a way to force that somehow. Because that would make our job a lot easier. For example, if, let me check if the position has moved. It has moved. So Lorena played something, but for example, if she played knight g4 and then let me just check that I'm not blundering anything. Because this is still quite dangerous, actually. But so knight g4, queen g3. Then we're putting some pressure on a lot of things, but it's all moot. Lorena played rook e8. And now Diana does go for queen g3, so she's putting pressure here. And coincidentally, she's still putting pressure on g7. Unfortunately, she no longer has her dark squared bishop. A dark squared bishop here would have been absolutely lovely. Know what? So yeah. Also, a very big advantage for Diana is that she doesn't really need to do anything right now. For example, if she decides that she wants to double her rooks, and I don't think that it even matters where, that's how good her position is. For example, where do we want to double? So if she just plays a bunch of moves like rook here, I'm hesitant to double because I kind of like this rook on the open file. But the point that I'm trying to make is that she has a lot of moves that are in no way harmful, while black has a really hard time to even find moves to play. Unless you're just going back and forth, but that doesn't seem very conducive. So, how are we continuing? Because half the work is done, but it's not over yet. And you can't count on your opponent collapsing on alone, you know? Okay, so what do we do now? What does black do? The problem for black is that you don't even have a pawn break anymore. Usually if you're really in trouble, and then you have to start looking for pawn breaks, because this is quite strong. You want to break up that structure, but you can't. b6 doesn't do anything. d5 just gives away a pawn for free. Also a queen, but I mean, I wasn't talking about the other pieces. I was only talking about the pawns. And you don't want... The only pawn break that you have, kind of, is g6. Which you don't want to do because this is spins. But even if you play king h7 and then g6, it still doesn't look very appetizing because these pieces look very, very strong. So if you don't have pawn breaks, can we get our knight here? Okay, so we could technically get our knight there by playing knight b6, bishop c8, knight d7, that's not right, okay, knight d7, and then knight c5. But that doesn't look very good now, does it? But to be honest, I'm not even sure if I see another plan. Something else for Diana could be if the opponent plays knight b6, maybe you do a tricky thing and play rook c1, because then you have c5. And as this queen is undefended, this pawn is pinned. And if you play c5, the knight has to move. So imagine the bishop is here, the knight has to move, and then you can take here, for example, and then you can play e5. There is this check probably still. This diagonal is still open. So maybe it does lose some material at some point. But yeah, I don't think I would be so unhappy to give this pawn if it means I can get this one and then break it open and then just go queen, you know? I do like queens. Okay. I am someone that's quite disturbed, but also disturbed by my opponent's movements. So if they hold out like that, it gets on my nerves. But so queen c5, king h1 was played. I am disturbed. I know. Paused at the right time there in my sentence. But like, you know, yes, no, yes, no. Sometimes it's nice because then you have an idea of what they're going to play and you can still think a bit on their move, on their time. Diana is still on 1 hour and 14 minutes. It's quite funny. Okay, so I think she played queen e3. Let me double check. Yes, queen e3. But now... that's interesting because earlier she didn't want to trade queens, but what you're getting by putting your queen here is very likely a queen trade. For example, if now... where do we go? Where do we go? You almost had some kind of tactic with knight e5. Of course it doesn't work because there's no check. But always look out for tactics like that. If you have this, If you could just move your knight with check to a square where it can't be taken by the queen, then you would win the queen. Okay. Are we worried about this pawn? I definitely wouldn't give it away for free. Because this pawn is the protector of our pawn chain. It's the base, and the base is very important. So it's nice from Lorena to play this. The rule is, when your opponent has a pawn chain, attack the base. So that's definitely what she is doing. But now, how do we continue as white? Ooh, is there some kind of some cheap trick like rook g1, queen takes, and then bishop f1, and we're threatening mate? It looks funny, but the question is it good? That's the number one question. And also, is it needed? Because you're risking your position a bit, right? So you have knight h5 as a defense, but then queen g4, queen takes. My knight is here. My knight is no longer here, so this is actually with check. So that's interesting. So rook g1 takes, bishop f. Wait, what am I saying? My knight is still here, so it's not with check. Okay, rook g1, queen takes, bishop f1. Threatening mate and attacking the queen. Knight h5, defending and attacking. I guess worst case I just take the queen, right? I take the queen, you take my queen, but I take with the pawn and I'm up another piece. So I would be very happy. I would be very happy with this. Okay, let's... I'm actually wondering what the best... Okay, so Diana played rook a d1, but let me quickly check my line because I'm... So rook g1, and if you take here, then bishop f1, knight h5, takes. So perfect. My moves were absolutely perfect. I love it. But having said that, rook g1, best move in the position. Look, but we're not here to to be happy with my moves. We are happy with Diana's moves, and rook a d1 is also perfect because, like I said, why take the risk, right? You're already winning. You don't need to risk anything. Don't make me hungry, Mario. I was in a bit of a rush, so I couldn't finish my my lunch. Hi, Juan. She's just a kid and she knows she is lost. I like her fighting spirit though. Like she is looking for active moves. She is putting her queen all up in Diana's business, and it's interesting, right? And it's good. She doesn't need to resign, obviously. I'm definitely not one of... A lot of people say, like, why didn't she resign yet? I'm definitely not one of those people. I think resigning has never won you any points. Yeah. You're hungry now? I know. I have delicious pasta waiting for me. Spaghetti bolognese. You like watching kids fly planes. Hello, Nitro. I like the at the beach, or what planes are we talking about? One thing that's very important is if you think you're lost, is to still play with a fighting spirit. And I talk a big game, but I'm absolutely terrible at it. I'm very pessimistic, OTB, and as soon as I think I'm lost, I go crazy. I play some kind of ridiculous, crazy moves, and then afterwards, turns out I wasn't lost at all, but because of my crazy moves, I am now lost. So you have to have the right amount of fighting spirit. Real planes. Okay. Good for you. You'll resign when there's genuinely no hope at all. Exactly. As long as you still see some kind of plan for you. And here there is still some kind of plan, you know, it's quite a crazy and far-fetched plan, but you never know that there might be some 9g4, some h5, 9g4, this queen goes here, and then there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this, and there's this, and rook, and then queen. Oh, that actually doesn't work because you can take with the knight. But imagine if the knight is gone and you take with the rook, and then there's knight f2, checkmate, which would be a smaller mate. You just need to have like a lot of help, but it's still possible. Managed to stalemate you. Wow. Took a while for them to remove their mouse from their wall afterwards. Okay, what happened? Rook a d1, knight e7 played. And now Diana goes, that is a free pawn. Thank you. And yeah, she doesn't look very happy. Lorena. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I always need some... I need to build up to resigning, you know? I must sound so crazy, but I need to build up to... It's a whole process in my mind. Oh no, John, that sounds absolutely horrible. Do you remember when Anand resigned in the opening? Because he had blundered the piece. But he resigned on his own move. I mean, at least wait and see if your opponent sees it as well, you know? Okay, so Lorena doesn't look happy, but I think a lot of kids are also taught not to resign. This is just absolutely horrible. Like, even though you still can't put your knight anywhere. How sad is this? Well, it's good for Diana. Okay, bishop c8 played. It's excellent for Diana, and it's excellent for us. Is this queen? This queen is almost trapped. Almost. Can we trap this queen? That would be fun. So I want to play rook e1, and after this, then there's here. But the problem is that there's still queen a7. I want to trap this queen. Can we play c5? But then there's b6. We can't take that, but I want to win the queen now, you know? Okay, so rook e1. If queen directly, we still have this, but then this, and we no longer have this. I like c5. Maybe knight d7 is what she wants. And then this is again attacked twice. Well, then this is attacked twice. Hmm. I wonder how many times a day Heimpan thinks she is so crazy. Heimpan only thinks, oh, I'm so lucky to have ended up with Marapant. That is all he thinks about all day, every day. You may ask him right now, and that's what he will say. How lucky he is. So true, exactly. There we go. He tells me all day how happy he is with me. Truth. There we go. At their level, there's always chances, and it's good practice. Exactly, because you need training to fight back in a difficult position, right? Okay, so rook e1, interesting. Is that a... Okay, the board says... Okay, now it updated. It first said queen b6, but I think that was a mouse slip from the board. And now it says queen a7. And now we would love to be able to play this, but then you go back, of course, so... You are very good at being a husband. He is excellent. Excellent. I would recommend him, but he's already taken, so... Hello, Kay. Did I say hello to you? I said hello in my mind. I don't know if it got voiced out loud. Thank you, thank you. Excellent, excellent stuff, yes. Almost 10 years. Crazy when you think about it. You were minus 13 against one of the bots. Fisher bot equalized it for a draw. Wow, crazy. I thought we didn't do crazy. I do crazy. You don't do crazy. You're just happy. But I do plenty of crazy. Why can't you go on S3? I forgot the context. Okay. Hello, Boom. Thank you so much. Hello, Hucky. If Black had 2 moves in a row, she would be winning. Imagine that. Like you put in your card and you say, up, 2 moves in a row. Not often you see a V in the middle of the board. Nope. You use like 5 minutes before resigning just to get my mind on something. I have to, yeah. I even visualize me resigning. it's chess can be so painful. Kind of like Diana's opening choice, get out of theory. Yeah, do you know how well she's prepared for this? How much is prep? How much is on the boards? Thinking. Thank you so much, Kay, for the sub. So kind of you. Okay, so she played this again. I'm also one of those people that when my opponent repeats that I think they're going for a draw and then they don't go for a draw because obviously they're winning. And I always feel disappointed. I never understand why they're doing it. Like, she doesn't need more time. Why is she repeating the position? Okay, so the queen goes back. Also some panic every time, like, oh, do I remember how to claim a draw? Because it's ridiculously complicated. Extra stress for your opponent, I guess. Okay, so Diana, maybe she changed her mind, right? Maybe she just found a new idea and she goes for queen d4, forcing a... Well, it's not quite forcing a queen trade. Now you have queen f4 as an option. Queen f4. Haha, and now we're... if this were to happen, then it's, you know, it's still an option for white to go wrong. Queen f4. Do you have knight e5? But where are you going? Because every time you move one of your pieces, you leave squares unprotected, right? Turns out you're winning. Thank you for the follow, Lorenzo. Oh, I was wondering why I don't hear the sound, but it's because my headset went off for some reason. Okay, move is played, queen f4. So Lorena definitely knows that if you're behind material, you don't want to trade queens. Okay, so now how do we make progress? How to make progress? I really want to exchange some pieces. Do we now play e5? Because our queen is defended, right? So e5 does trade queens, because otherwise you win the knight. So e5 is probably good. Diana plays e5. There we go. Diana also knows if you're up material, you most definitely do want to trade queens. So e5, forcing a queen trade. If takes, takes. This pawn is attacked twice, only defended once, but the nice thing is that we're also attacking the knight. So black needs some time and can't take back immediately. And then that should be a good conversion. The phone did that on stream and was visually embarrassed. Okay. Takes, takes. Bad dark squares. Who has bad dark squares? It's also interesting because it's actually now defended twice. I said it was only defended once, but it's actually defended twice. So we're even there, we're covered. But if we weren't, as soon as this bishop leaves, this b7 pawn is under attack. So I think we might even have some crazy ideas. For example, knight h5. Do we have rook a8 with the threat of taking here? Because this rook is undefended, you know? But then again, do you need to bother with this? Because there's all kinds of, you know, even though I don't know, it's so many plans. Okay, she didn't go to h5, she went to g4, so she's attacking the pawn. And you know, you never know that there might be some kind of fork if Diana goes here. You know, you never know. Knight g4 promotes. There we go. Um, Also here, so maybe I would just play. Actually, it's not that easy yet, because if you now go here, then there might be rook d8, which looks a bit annoying. But I don't want to. I want to keep my bishop. I don't want to allow the trade with this knight. Okay, so rook e1, rook d8. Can we go rook f4? But then you force black to play h5, and I actually just wanted to win the knight without any compensation. How many points are they on? I think Diana is on 1 out of 2. She won the first round and she lost the second one. Tosh is on 2 out of 2. Let me quickly check. Not this. Okay, so Diana does play rook e1, which I think is the safest. You don't need to take any risks. You really want to first shore up your position. And I think rook f4 might be next after rook d8. What is Tosh doing? Okay, so Tosh's position is still equal. I can't show it because it's not on chess.com for some reason. But okay, so her opponent plays h5, creating an escape square, which is sensible. Can we now play f6? f6, if you take, then I win material. So the line that you have to calculate is f6, knight g6, for example. And then I would go on calculating takes, although that's not forced, you don't have to take back. The point is that this pawn would be weak. It would be attacked twice and only defended 3 times, sorry, attacked 3 times and only defended once. But I want some kind of, so f6, knight g6, maybe even e6, right? Just open up the position. Maybe even throw in some h3, although that h3, but I don't want to get back rank mated. Although you can always sacrifice your bishop, I guess, but I don't want to sacrifice my bishop. Hello, player. Hello, Polak. You can take with the king. You can take what with the king? The g-pawn? Sure, but that opens it up more. And as soon as this bishop leaves, you win this pawn. That's basically my plan, to dislodge the bishop on c8 and win that pawn. Okay, we have some moves. Look at this. How in sync are we? Diana plays f6, knight g6, and f takes. I do quickly want to check here what the best idea is in the position. both e6 and f takes are equally strong. Okay, nice. But again, e6 is a bit more complicated, and why risk it? You don't need to risk it. Okay, takes, takes. This is the current position. So you don't need to risk it, right? How are you continuing? I might just... what does she do? What? Okay, so she goes for the check. Which is interesting in a different way, because if now the king goes back, there's h3, and this knight has no safe squares. So imagine it there, here, takes, and then you have d4, and this rook is pinned. Well, the knight is pinned to the rook. So probably king h7 is needed, but then this pawn is undefended. And then you can take that. So the whole position crumbles. Okay, so she does play king g8. And now I imagine we will see h3. I do think king g8 was played a bit fast. But on the other hand, if you go to f8, you still play h3 and then you play knight h6 at after some moves, and then you're threatening mate on f7, so it's all difficult. Okay, Diana goes for another move. She goes for d6. Was h3 good? Okay, again, every move is good. Every move is winning. Knight d6. So this is coming, and this is coming. So yeah, excellent game by Diana. She's doing great. I think she really, just gave a masterclass in how to play this opening. She played something which is, I think, a bit rarer. I'm not an e4 or e5 player, so I never get this kind of structure. Just to quickly recap, so this is what happened. I think maybe h6. So if we check here, so a5 or a6, and this is where it started to go a bit wrong. So I think here, and now she went f4, opened the structure, and then the opponent got a bit flustered, I think, because where do you put your pieces? What is your plan as black? It's very, very difficult. So, yeah, now this rook got stuck. Then Diana decides to take it, tries to exchange some queens. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hasino. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much for the 100 bits. How are you doing, Hasino? How is the heat? So she manages to exchange queens, then this lovely pawn push, and now she's just trying to finish it very cleanly. We have some more moves. Rook f8 played, and now d4. She is playing very, very smart. Like, there are a lot of ways to win this position, but I don't know about you, but I've played quite some quite some Blitz online, and it's so easy to let a winning position slip out of your hands because you're just so overpressing on the attack. Diana is not doing that. Diana is really focusing on protecting all her pawns, because these pawns are becoming new queens. Because if you take here, takes bishop here, that could have been good, but then your e-pawn is hanging. And why risk it? Because now you play d4, and you still have this this coming up. Nothing that black can do to stop it, actually. Can't move this bishop because you take this. If you want to do something like that, you still lose the pawn, and then you have this annoying knight here that's even worse. So yeah, it's very well done. How old is Lorena? Lorena is 10 years old. You slept 3 hours. Oh no, what happened? Why? Hello, Pedro. She is on 1 out of 2, and I think soon to be on 2 out of 3. I think we've all had these kind of positions, right? Or these games. She's 400 points underrated, exactly. These games where we've just had a bad opening. I think that's what went wrong for Lorena. She got into an opening that she maybe didn't know. She let Diana become very active, but it's very hard to feel when that's happening, right? Because afterwards it's easy to say, oh yeah, h6, and that's where you lost the momentum, because h6 in itself wasn't losing. It's just really, really difficult to find play. How many girls compete here? So it's the adult group. Well, adult and less adult people, I think. They have 12 players, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like a position where experience got the upper hand, yes. Yes, Lara, exactly. I think if she keeps playing like this, and she keeps improving, then Lorena will become a strong player as well, like her sister. Because she has some good instincts, right? Even though she had a difficult position, she managed to activate her queen and try to do some things. It was unfortunately too little too late, but it's good not to give up, to keep trying. So bishop e6 played, and now this pawn gets taken, and yeah. Maybe this is the point where you say, you know, I'll try again next time. But children don't resign easily. As long as there is still a piece on the board, they usually keep playing. As is their right. Hasino, how was the... Can you become Irish? Are you a woman? Sure, if you move to Ireland and you fulfill all the requirements. The Olympiad is soon. It is next month, and it will be very exciting. I was wondering about that. There will be a lot of streamers playing the Olympiad. Are they going to be streaming? Is it possible to stream that kind of event? I would think that you wouldn't want to be bothered, you know? Juana? Well, then you are... where are you from? Because I don't think... yeah, depending on where you're from. You could come to Belgium. Then you can probably also play next year. Romania, yeah. I see the problem. Romania does have some very strong female players. So yeah, Right. I see the problem. Belgium, you know. Belgium, Ireland. But I think a lot of it is I know in Belgium you don't get any support. Well, I guess that's not really true. That's not really true. They do organize things for women in Belgium. It's just a bit of a closed group, you know. Who would return to Belgium? Very nice country. Yes. Okay, so her opponent is contemplating her life choices. Did she just make a move? Yes, she did. Rook b8. Diana not spending too much time and playing d5. Okay, maybe she wants to take here, but you do have to be a tiny bit careful, because if bishop d7, if you take here, can you take here? Although it still wouldn't matter, because then you take, and have e6. But again, you are, you know, why do this to yourself, right? I think you have an easier conversion as white. In USA, professional chess gets no government support. In Belgium, there is almost, I think we maybe have 2 or 3 male players that are professionals. And I know one of the more famous ones, who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, was complaining a lot about being unable to be a professional chess player in Belgium because of how little support he got. Favorite city in Belgium? That's a really difficult question. I guess it depends what you want to do. I grew up in Bruges, and I love medieval cities, so it's very difficult to I mean, Bruges is very beautiful. But if you want to, you know, see more than medieval buildings, then Bruges is not the city for you. Bishop d7. Oh, you're from Romania. That's where Diana is. Diana's parents are Romanian, right? And I think she has the double nationality? I don't actually. I've been making a lot of claims regarding people's legal status in countries that I know absolutely zero about. So yeah. Funny. Love Bruges when you went there as a kid. Blankenberge is your favorite. Really? That's something that I haven't heard before. Why? It's by the sea, so that's great. And if you have lovely memories, then that's also nice. I missed some moves, right? So rook, no, a bishop d7, e6 played. Okay. Takes. This bishop needs to move again. Bishop here. Maybe knight takes, rook takes. Bishop c6. You can't take here because I have this pin. And then my pawns are running free. But you do it so confidently. Ostende is nice too, yes. True. Knokke. And if you're really rich, Knokke Heest. I think she took back. Okay, so we are in the final stretch of this round. Diana did a beautiful attack until her opponent cracked and lost some material, and then she switched from a mating attack to a nice and beautiful conversion. Ghent, Brugge, Ostende, very beautiful, yes. Belgium has some nice cities. Also, if you like the other part of Belgium, we also have some wonderful cities over there. I'm thinking of Namen, Namur, also very beautiful. I'm blanking on the names. Oh, that's gonna annoy me. A lovely little city where you can go and kayak a lot in nature. And it's also medievally. I haven't been there for a very long time. Dinant? Am I thinking of Dinant? Now I have to look it up. Dinant. I think so, Dinant. Oh, Derby! I am Derby. Thank you, Hasino. Oh, that would have annoyed me until Kingdom Come. Derby is what I'm thinking of. Ah, exactly. Whew. Thanks. Okay, in the meantime, while I've been searching cities in my own country, Bishop e8 was played, knight takes, and I assume we will see... You can actually even take this, but... You don't love it. I love you. I love both Dinant and Derby. Haven't been there in a long, long time, though. We need to go. Hasino, next meetup? Not in some cafe in Brussels, but in Derby. Let's have a cold leffe, a blonde leffe in Derby. Truth, also welcome. Okay, move was made. Rook takes. Will she play until mate? What's the best way to finish this? What's the cleanest? I would probably play bishop c6. And then if, for example, rook e7, because you also can't take this because the rook is there, so, you know, you really, really can't take it. Rook e7, then b6, and queen this pawn. Is Diana really thinking at this point? Okay, interesting. Okay, she played h3. Does she want to pin this knight? So knight h6 is coming, right? Does she want to play rook g1? And then bishop e4? Has Lorena even gotten up since game started? Maybe you missed it if she did. That's a good question. I don't remember. I think Diana went away once. But I don't remember seeing Lorena get up. That's some good dedication. Some good focus. She also spent her time. Okay, rook g1 played. So she is going for this plan. It's a good plan, you know, winning material. Good plan. Thank you so much for the follow, Boom. I hope you are enjoying the commentary. Hello back. Hello, hello. Nope. Okay. Then I had some I had some jokes in my mind, but they all should really stay there. Okay, a sacrifice. Sacrifice. My God, a resignation is what I wanted to say. I've been so flabbergasted. A resignation. Oh, that was funny. Well, you know. Hey, Bowties, how are you doing? Good to see you. Okay, so this is the end of the round. She won. Congratulations, Diana. If you weren't here, maybe let's quickly recap. I don't know if Diana usually joins after the round. I don't know. So let's quickly go through it. It was a very clean game by Diana. A bit of a special opening. Probably her opponent wasn't very used to it. I wouldn't be. Is why I think that. So h6 played, and I think that signals a bit of a problem now, because this is a hook, and it means that Diana has a very clear plan of attack, which makes your game always a lot easier. So she played f4 with the plan of opening up the kingside attack. Now her opponent isn't really sure what to do, and she plays rook a5, but quickly this rook comes under fire, and it is lost a couple of moves later. And now Diana switches away from her mating attack and tries to eliminate as much pieces as possible. She really wants to trade some queens. Here she goes about it, forces the queen trade. There we go. And then a very nice and clean conversion. There we go. Will you commentate other rounds as well? No, I will not. Only this one. Only this one. But I hope you enjoyed it. You enjoyed the game. Yes, you missed the end. Diana won. So here, I don't know where you left off, but she did a very clean conversion, just pushing the pawns, and then going for another piece win, which is very nice. Look for Lorena in the future, definitely, definitely. She has, she was very fighting. Hello, Diana. Congratulations. You can call on Discord. Sure. Oh, I did something. What did I do? What the hell did I do? Okay. Okay, I clicked on this. Okay, Um, where? Oh, hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can chat hear you?
Uh, hey, darlings, can you hear me?
I should probably rechat to see what they answer. How are you doing?
I'm good, but I'm so upset over the last game.
Which one? Wait, let.
The second, I lost in the second round.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
Yeah,
unfortunate.
so I know. I'm sorry. This game, yeah, this game wasn't too interesting to
Oh,
comment.
it was great. It was very clean. Wait. Let me see if I
Yeah, but
can.
I just felt bad.
You did what?
I just felt bad for like I don't know. I felt bad that she got paired against me.
Yeah, but she put on a fighting spirit, right?
Yeah, I know, but her poor, I don't know what she was doing over there.
No,
I felt,
that was not.
yeah, I know.
Wait.
I mean, she's just a young, yeah.
Okay, I think you're on now. No.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you so much for commentating. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I messed it up again. Okay, never mind. Um. Okay, so to the game now. You played
Yeah, I got
a.
refueled by an amazing Tesco meal deal. That's true. Although so I got Wait, do you have Tesco in Belgium?
No, I don't think so.
Hmm. We have it's just like a supermarket. You've heard of Tesco, have you?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And there's this thing. There's a meal deal, so you get a sandwich, a snack, and a drink. And TJ always gets it as well. So we always discuss we always discuss like what we get. So today I got Southern fried chicken wrap, and he got that also this morning, and we both didn't know about it. But yeah, I got a meal deal before the game for the first time in a long time because they don't have Tesco in Germany either.
Some reminiscing. But this
Oh,
was a great game, very smooth by you.
thank you.
And the rook move was a bit weird, her plan. But what else could she do, right? You had her completely paralyzed, and there was just no
Yeah.
good plan for black. Yeah, you played really
Yeah,
well.
she just let me get a really nice opening. I'm not. I didn't check how the others are doing. I think Diana Mats is gonna win, and I'm not sure. Tasha gets it's equal. I think maybe she's slightly better.
Do you have
Can you?
assigned boards? Because
Yeah, yeah.
okay, yeah. But not in the first round, but now in the second and the third, because I was so confused on why
I
people
know.
with 2 points are on board 6.
I know. I
So
know.
I messed that up at the start. I thought, but then I
Oh
checked
no.
the
Yeah.
standings. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay, assigned boards, that makes sense.
Yeah, because we're both streaming. So in the first round, we were actually in a different room, and I ended up being on board 3, but I was supposed to be on board 2, but she had a different table. And then today the way that the arbiter set it up, it was already board 6 where she set up her stream. And then I was board 1 because of my round actually, and then I lost. But he asked me, "Do I want to keep the setup there?" And I said, "Yeah, please."
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so what are you? It's only 5 rounds, right? So what are
Yeah, just
your
I don't
expectations?
know. It's a little bit messed up now because I thought we were gonna get to play like the three like there's only I thought it was only gonna be 3 people in the running to win, but we both me and Diana Mats both lost to lower rated, so now I don't even think we'll all get to play each other. So I just don't know. I don't know. I think I might. Well, depends how the girl that I lost to in the second round does, but I think she's going to if she draws at least or
Mm-hmm.
wins, she's gonna play against Tosh, and then in the final round, well, if I win, but then I could play against Diana Mats in the morning, and I'm not looking forward to that.
It's crazy that there's only 5 rounds. Like you,
It's always like this.
you can't really afford like
I
it's
know.
outside of your hands now, right? You need
I
so
know.
many stars aligned.
I need 100% now.
Yeah.
If I get 2 wins, it's enough to come joint first.
And what are the tie breaks?
I'm not sure, but I assume if I win both games, I assume that I don't know. I actually don't know. There's no playoffs.
Hmm. It, it
Um,
doesn't really matter in advance, I guess. I usually just find out during the
yeah,
ceremony.
same. I never really think about it too much, but yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah.
Anyways, thank you for commentating. I'm glad it was a shorter game. This morning I was the last player.
Really? I saw your rating. Congratulations, so nice.
No, I've lost like 20 points now.
Already?
Because I mean, like probably 15. I lost last round against the 1600.
Yeah, but that's what is that like 10 points or something?
Really? I thought it was at
No?
least 18.
18. That's insane. No. Is it?
I thought it was 18 because isn't it? Wait, it's more than 300 difference.
Really? Okay. We'll have to. Well, I guess you'll find out next month. But anyway,
Yeah,
you will
hopefully
just
not.
win all your games, and then it will be. No,
Yeah.
but anyway, your rating now is very nice, very impressive. Congratulations,
Thank
very
you.
nice.
Thank you.
It suits you.
Did you make the Olympia team?
No, I didn't play enough games to qualify.
I can't believe that. I yeah.
I'm
That's so
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm short 7 games, but even then, maybe on rating, I'm not sure if my journey didn't go as planned. Let's call it that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's
That's
fine. Maybe next time, you know.
yeah, definitely next time. Yeah, you have 2 years. You can do it.
Hmm.
And this time you won't have to play 1,000 games.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you'll
True.
make it.
Well, first the strength, right? And then
Yeah.
the and then the results.
Yeah.
But are you working a lot on your chest now?
I'm definitely not.
No. Yeah.
This is why I played this tournament because the next one is gonna be the Olympiad, and I was like, frick, I have to practice a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
But I actually think I actually think that streaming helps a lot because, well, I mean, last round I didn't freaking see any tactics, but I think I'm better at tactics now. So streaming helps. Thanks, darlings.
exactly the experience and the training you get in, and just playing a
Yeah.
lot is important. So I hear.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so great. I
Thank
will
you.
let you go have dinner, and then
Thank you.
2 more rounds tomorrow. Who is commentating? Is it 17?
Yeah, so it depends. He's at a wedding this weekend, but I'm not sure if he will be back in the morning. So Hannah might commentate, but if he's back, then Patrick will.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
Okay, great. So
Do you have any coming up?
no,
Do you have any?
no. I canceled my last one. Well, I was sick, and then now I've been a bit.
Wait, How you do? It's good. Well done. Thank you. Congrats. Thank you. I'll see you later. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Okay. So Stella drew to the girl that I lost to earlier. So Tasha's gonna be playing against me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyways.
interesting.
I'm gonna go eat my sorrows.
Well, but this was a beautiful game, so that's definitely
it
one
doesn't
to
really matter.
no. Okay. One of our wizard wants to know who to raid.
Oh, who's to rate? Are you streaming any longer?
No, I need to.
Okay.
No.
Who? Let me just check who is on. Does I guess any. Just like, oh, Davina is streaming. Yeah, we can raid Davina. Waterford Wizard.
Okay, great. So thank you so much. Congratulations again. Good luck for the rest of the tournament. And
Thank you.
yeah, we'll speak soon.
Thank you so much for commentating. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
My pleasure.
And I'll see you later.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Okay, so play blitz. No. I definitely need to go eat. I only had half a lunch and the day has flown by. But this was a really great game. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, let me also rate simply. No, it's with an E. So it's simply Divina. This is it. Hello, Adam. I think that's her name. So let me raid the same person. Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. I had a great time. Lovely fighting game. I really admired it. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Had a lovely time with both chats, very active, which is always a pleasure as a commentator because you're so focused on the chess, but then on the other hand, you also bring some of your own anecdotes. So it's good that that is appreciated as well, you know? So have a lovely, what are we today? Saturday. Have a lovely rest of the weekend, and I will see you all very soon. Bye bye.